It was discovered that he had broken up with her and he had transferred his affections to Asha, which, as we know in high school, is cause for giant fires and brawls.
I know firsthand, being a substitute teacher. No, I'm not kidding. There was a girl in my second period class who got in a fight with a girl in my fifth period class over a boy in my fourth period class. And she moved to a different period to avoid the drama because she was embarrassed by it. So I'm well aware of the drama, and compounded with magic, I don't like, good luck.
You get what is it, the auditorium in flames, and something else I forgot.
Yeah, but wasn't it? Yeah, because one of the great things, and I love these, just this little innocuous mention, but like, ignoring the moments of the gigantic worm provided by our care of magical creatures. You know, Professor Kelburn, you know, it turns out to be something that wasn't quite a worm. You know,
that was the funniest darn thing, I think. I laughed so hard at that because I could just see, she described this whole scene so awesome. You just see all this chaos happening, all around, everybody's screaming and running around. There was this huge worm just munching on all the wood in the background, just destroying the place, and no one's probably even paying attention to it.
I love this other footnote. Professor Kettleburn survived no fewer than 62 periods of probation during his employment as chairman. So clearly Hogwarts has a long and interesting history with its faculty, like even beyond what we see in the books themselves.
Do you know what I find even better is that this crazy, hilarious circumstance, but the character through which it's being told, Dumbledore is very cool and wry and aloof, and he says it in this kind of sardonic, like he's sharing the joke with you kind of attitude, which it just makes me laugh so hard. Like all those different times where he called somebody a genius, and he said, you know, in the footnote, such as myself. You know, I just love him.
No vanity at all. And declaring no vanity usually depicts vanity, but he gets away with it.
He does.
What I thought was interesting, though, is that so much humor is in these footnotes, and it had me thinking back to when, you know, the childhood books I had read, there were no footnotes in any of those books, and I wondered, like, this is an awesome book, and I could see a lot of, like, my friends and a lot of people, you know, of that particular age and older, who've read books with footnotes, really appreciating and being able to, like, know when to stop reading the actual story and when to skip down to the footnote and when to go back, because I still sometimes get screwed up like that. But I wondered if there was much discussion about that format with you guys, if it would be easy to follow for the younger readers.
This was the way it was presented in the manuscript, and I think, you know, we tried to make it as clear as possible in the design. Since these are presented as something of an academic volume almost, you know, with introduction and notes and commentary and so on and so forth, that I think the footnotes felt right to have to us. Yeah. And it's actually become a more standard trope. There's a fair number of young adult novels that have used them. So I think that didn't really enter our minds in terms of it being a work of narrative, that it would be a problem.
I hadn't come across that in a lot of books I personally read in a long time, and I'm a fan of a book called Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, and it uses dozens of footnotes, and I thought it really added a lot to it. I mean, if you're a Tolkien fan, you'd seen it, but it hadn't been in modern times. You know, so I thought it was really cool on it, personally.
Series of unfortunate events.
Series of unfortunate events?
The Amulet of Samarkand by Jonathan Stroud, and Bad Kitty by Michelle Joff, which is hilarious.
Jasper Ford.
And Jasper Ford, yes. So it's a nice tradition.
Yeah. I mean, we all associate footnotes from high school and college with, if you don't read it, you better watch out because it's going to end up on the test. You know?
That's pretty much all I read when I was reading books for high school, was the footnotes for studying for the exams. But I wasn't an awesome student.
Did you use Spark Notes?
Spark Notes? No. Certainly not. I've read all the books.
I'm not saying this Spark Notes.
Yeah, Spark Notes.
Can I do some praise on John for the illustration? If you haven't seen it, there's this illustration of a horse. That is, if you had any doubt as to her prowess as an illustrator, I mean, look at this. It's on page 70 if you have it. If you don't, look at it. Share with a friend.
It looks to be in pain.
Well, he's falling, right?
He's being lifted.
He's being lifted,
Yeah.
right.
Horses don't like to be.
But Frack, I mean, how difficult is it to draw this?
It's not easy to do, and I think that, like, the fact that shows the form of the stomach and just the proportion of the horse and the neck and everything, the foreshortening. Not to throw all these big artistic terms around, but it's not easy to do. And just same with go to the Harry Hart illustration at the end with the two people laying on the ground. That's really difficult to do too, because when you have to draw figures foreshortened like that, it's not easy, because a lot of times the proportions get off, and faces and the hands are the hardest things to draw. Norman Rockwell said you can fudge everything, they'll forgive you for everything else if you can draw their face and hands. And so like the fact that she can, the face and the hands right here, I mean, she knows what she's doing.
What do you mean by foreshortened?
Like this, like, you know, his arms coming at you, and like this, more so on the horse. Foreshortened is like if I'm doing this and you're drawing like this way. Yeah, it's different perspective.
That's not the actual length of his arm. It's done.
It's shortened because it's moving to the foreground, so it's foreshortened.